Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. All right, people, there's a lot of things going on right now, and the world's in complete chaos. The sad part of it is more people have zero clue of what's going on, don't care what's going on, don't want to know what's going on, while everything's deteriorating. Well, I got a bunch of things to talk about today, including my life. Whether you care or not, it's important to the way you think about your own. All right, many people have an idea or a reason behind their life, why they're here, what they're doing, why they're doing it, what they need to do before they end it, or it ends, however you want to word it. But we're responsible for everything we do, good, bad, or indifferent. Can you tell the difference between good and bad? Some religions say there is no bad, it's just this or that. Well, I say there's better and there's good, better, and best. But, the worst is the worst. And if you do follow the worst things that are happening and get involved with, you do create the word karma. Karma means cause and effect that you're going to have to pay back. And you can't expect Jesus, God, or anybody else to take it away from you. No, I'm going to go into a little bit about Jesus. Not that I'm a Christian. But Jesus was the most spiritual person to ever walk this planet. Nobody came close. I'm aware of all my past lives, and hopefully you start remembering yours, how you got here, and why you're still here. This is my last time here. Hopefully, I could always make a mistake and end up coming back. But we are aware of our actions, or we should be. And if you're on drugs and things, it's a little bit harder to understand what's right and wrong. Or drinking. Your mind's real foggy. But the point is, you have to be aware of your mind always. That controls the body. Soul controls you as a soul, but mind can do whatever it wants. Soul can't stop soul from doing things. It can feed it the truth, information. Whether it listens or not is a different story. So with that, look around. If you're watching this at a later date, great. When you're done listening, send it to everybody you know. All right? If they don't like it, they can shut it off. But it's going to be something that very few people will want to hear because it's the truth. Now, we have people running the world, running the government. And they are putting very little truth out there or any good reasons to do what they do. So, not listening to the news is what people think is a good thing. Well, I don't have to listen to the news. I don't want to hear what's going on. You don't want to hear what's happening to the planet. You don't want to hear what's happening to the children, what's happening to the poor people, what's happening to companies, farms, everything else. Never mind the space program. You want to live in La La Land, which is where most New Age people like to live, dreaming everything's perfect, everything's going to get better. Well, the old saying, it doesn't get better until it gets really down to the bottom of being worse. And we're getting closer and closer to that every day. And what that means, the end of the world as we know it. And that'll happen soon. And now, you can believe me or not, I'm not claiming to be a top psychic or this, that, or anything, but I will tell you, the next 5 years will change the history of this planet to the greatest level of change ever to happen in all the history of planet Earth. Sure, there were multiple races here. They were all wiped out, one at a time, going back as far as you want. The Enochs, the giants, and then we had the Anunnaki and the Sumerians, and the most important race that I know from past lives was time of Atlantis. I'm not going to get into that until the end, and anybody sticks around, they might want to know the truth about that. There's very little truth about it. I mean, it was brought out by a famous historian many, many, many years ago, and they couldn't say much about it because it was only hearsay. So what I'm telling you is from my actual experience, direct experience, and being around people that have experiences directly or related to what I did. I only met a few of the top psychics that I know were real. Most of them are not. When I was young, I was a hypnotist. When I was 14, and then I went into past life regression, then psychic implant removals and all those kind of things. But I was doing it by myself. I didn't have teachers or people tell me that's right, that's wrong. I did study with Kreskin when I was little. I studied with an army hypnotist when I was 16. But the idea of hypnosis, and Kreskin called it the power of suggestion, which Trump did to the world over the past year. You hear something over and over, right or wrong, your subconscious mind accepts it. And that means whatever it is, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, hold on. What's up, kids? Stop it. You came in, you're coming in, and you're staying. Hopefully. So, when we accept things, good or bad, it changes what we do, how we react to the world, and how the world's going to react to us. It's a two-way deal. The world reacts to what we do, and we react to what it does. But we cause most of the problems that the Earth is going through. Right now, Hawaii is shooting lava up, way up into the sky. All right, it's going off crazy. And if you notice, there has been more earthquakes in the past year than ever in history, and big earthquakes. And there's a lot of shit, holes opening up in the ground and all kinds of things going on that weren't normal many years ago. But the history is changing. People controlling it are changing. The word is ego, power, and money. It's corrupting everybody because people do not realize the importance of compassion, for a word, real love, for another word. The word that they all know and deal with is called money. When it's taken away, you don't have a choice but to think about it. When you have too much of it, you don't think about the money per se as money, just what else you can do to entertain yourself. Now, I don't get into too much about Trump and Musk, but they are going to cause serious problems, and it's going to echo down the chain to everything you do, eat, buy, and where you go. All right? You don't create war with one race or two races when there's five. All right? There's four races, I'm kind of sorry. But when you deal with two and you skip one or you skip another and you say, I'm going to create peace, you can't. You can't eliminate. World peace can only happen when the whole world agrees on it. But sadly, something you need to look up, understand, and know it's real. It's called UN Agenda -30, meaning by 2030, we will be in a complete change. No one's talking about who's behind it, who's going to be the main power of the New World Order, what's going to happen. I mean, the United States has their idea of the New World Order, and they've been preparing for that as well. And the weapons that are coming out are incredibly dangerous to everybody. I don't want to get into that today. I'll do a show on that one day soon. I mean, it'll probably be taken right off of YouTube. They like to censor anything with any truth in it. And it takes them a while to go through my shows before they start deleting them. But if they delete too many in a month, I lose my show completely. Luckily, I've been barely hanging on. If they delete one, you got like 2 weeks to clear your history and keep your show up, and then they give you a month probation. It's crazy. But I'm on AOL, and they have AI completely controlling everything. Get censored, they get blocked on so many sites now. Considering we're going into free will. But I just heard in a state, but it's a federal law as of right now, It's against the law to go into anybody's cell phone, computer, and go into their site. It's a federal offense now. Good and bad. Everything has a good and bad side to it. 90% of everything on this planet does, at least. So if you think you're going to tap into your wife's phone, or she's going to tap into your phone, it's completely illegal, even if they have the password. So check some information. Check what's happening around you. Free speech. We never had free speech. I'm going to go into a couple things. I'm going to go into a lot. I don't know how long I'm going to keep doing the show, because I know people get bored in an hour, half hour, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. The second they hear something they don't like, they jump off, run away. Hide from the truth is what people do. They don't want to know anything about a real God. They don't want to know anything about death. They don't want to know anything about what the Mr. Musk really is doing, as long as they think it's okay. And as long as other people say, oh, it's great, he's great. All the people that voted for Mr. Trumpo, where were their heads? Now they're realizing when he stepped in, right before he said, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. Am I going to vote for somebody that says you're going to be a dictator? Why would you? Why would you consider? Well, it'll make things better. It doesn't make things better. Go to other countries. They're a lot worse right now, and they're not getting better. And when all this taxation and all these other things go down, everything you think you can get and afford is going to triple. Everything you can buy is going to be taking a lot longer to get and costing a lot more money to get it as well. But there's a lot of things that you need to know. Why you are here is the number one reason every soul, every person needs to find out in a lifetime, this lifetime. Now, for Christians, Muslims, and everybody else, reincarnation is real. They're slowly proving it little by little, but they're not proving multiple reincarnations, which you do have. You don't reincarnate one time. You reincarnate over and over until you learn why you truly came here. Very few souls ever do that. And there's multiple reasons, which I'm going to get into. But people, you want to hear good things. Tell me one good thing. What was the first spiritual thing we ever did in the past 25 years? What was the first spiritual invention we created in the past 25 years? Medicine is probably the most evil thing on this planet right now. Watch any commercial for a drug or a medicine. What's it say? It gives you 25 side effects of what it can do to you, including killing you. How is that legal? The same as they won't allow you to name a lemon, a lime, an orange, or something as a cure for something. If they do, they'll have to label it as a medicine and then make it cost 10 times more money. So it's a programmed idea, believing that medicine is going to help us. Well, you take a medicine for a toothache, and you get 100 other symptoms that could kill you, make you sick, and bother you, hurt you, destroy your kidney, destroy your liver, give you heart problems, brain problems. Really? And that's legal. They don't cure things. If you haven't noticed, one of the few things they cure is hepatitis. Why? There's always a reason why they do things. But every time they find a cure for something, they create 2 to 3 more problems within that time frame. So if you think or not, now, just for instance, I had to get injections, and I got to go for one soon. When you get an injection, all right, for your muscles, bones, and everything else, it's the same thing they gave you 40 years ago. You're thinking all that time they would make something better for your joints. And if they do, they won't release it to the public. Why is that? And other medicines, we create a new medicine for your brain. But if you're allergic to this, how do you know if you're allergic to it unless you take it? Well, if you're allergic to this, this, or that. But if you take it, if you have this kind of problem, that problem, and I'll name 20, 30 problems. Is that a good medicine? Is it really good for your body? And now something that's pretty amazing. People are going to this word organic. You know what the word organic even means? Oh, it's clean grown. What's clean grown? Is it grown in the dirt? Is it fed by air, rain, water? How is it fed? What does it? Where does it get its nutrients from? You know, plants were about 75% more filled more with multiple vitamins and minerals. That all died. The earth itself, the ground itself, has died. There was a bacteria on the ground. When I was little, you got a cut, and my father always took mud and put it on my leg, put it on my arm, whatever, and it would heal it right away. Now you do it, you get an infection. So bacteria that lived in the ground is gone, which help plants absorb vitamins and minerals from the ground itself. But you know, when they talk about pollution and plastic and all that, yeah, they're bad. But you know what's worse? The way people think. Why would you want reusable stuff? We had bottles of milk when we were little. The milkman came, dropped the bottles off, you drink it, put the bottles back out, and you take the bottles back. All right. Then they went to plastic. And now it just goes to waste dumps and everything else. Even soda cans that come with those plastic link things that hold them all together. They hurt the birds and the fish. It's like a trap for them. But you know, we keep making things that are wrong. You go to our fishing industry. Oh, they're only allowed to kill 10,000 dolphins a year. Oh, they're only allowed to kill 10,000 whales a year. Oh, well, the dolphins get caught in the nets of the tuna. You know, they went back to longlining. But you know, they only do what's beneficial to making money. Japanese boats, Philippine boats, and all those kind of people that go out into the ocean, kill everything they can. You know, when they put a net, it's a net, but it's really a long line with hooks down it, and they put the line out for about a mile long. And when they do shark fishing like that, some of the boats, they pull up the shark, cut off the tails and the fins, and then they throw the shark back in the water to die. Why? Because the boat can only hold so much weight. But if they're only taking that, they get more money for the fins than they do the whole shark. They don't care about the creature that they're killing, destroying. The dolphins, when they, like in the Philippines and even Japan, slaughter dolphins great numbers. And what do they do with them? They sell everything about a dolphin, the teeth even. But again, in schools in Japan, they serve the children dolphin, not the dolphin fish, because that's 10 times more valuable. The dolphin itself. All right. The whaling boats, when they take the nets in and they get all these other fish, they don't care about them. They don't save them or help them. But you know, we lose more than we help when we go netting fish. Even the native people, when I was in Washington and Oregon, when they net the fish in the rivers, they were taking the salmon eggs and then throwing the salmon in piles. You know, no race is above the law. No race is spiritual. And I hate to say that. Well, they're spiritual. The Mayans were never spiritual. The Aztecs were never spiritual. The Aztecs were never spiritual. You have to think about where their history, where their truth came from. Oh, the pyramids are so important. To who? To all the money spent on studying pyramids? You think they got any great knowledge about what a pyramid was used for? And can it really help us now? No, it cannot. And it won't. Aliens are here. I'm not going to make this about aliens today. But, and I swear on God directly, I was next to one. I stopped my brother from getting abducted. I mean, I spent years doing research and filming them with somebody. It's a danger to the planet right now. The numbers are escalating in super large numbers around the world. And, oh, well, we don't know why. Well, they're going to do what they want to do right now. Time's run out. We had major wars with aliens, and nobody can talk about that. In space. 3 on the planet as well. But that's besides the point. When we talk about what's being released, Mr. Musk just created a jet that is 4 times faster than any jet we have with weapons on it. Totally dangerous, destructive weapons on it. Who's he working for? Who's he going to give it to? All right. He should be in jail for that alone because, you know, That's a terrorist act. It's a terrorist weapon. But again, the United States will be releasing a spaceship this year. Musk's ship cost $2.1 billion. Ours cost $44 billion. All right. And it has all the weapons that Tesla gave the United States, which was 50. All right. We're in trouble, people. You want to believe the news, believe the Democrats, Republicans, or anybody. Biden had 4 years to do what he had to do. And he could have did a lot more if he wanted to. All right. But presidents aren't the controlling factor. We got Congress, old farts that sit around knowing nothing about nothing, saying, well, we can't have an abortion, we can't do this. And they know nothing about that either. Very few people understand anything about soul, which is what you are, how it lives, why it lives here in this body, for how long and why, where it goes when it leaves here, and all those kind of things. Religion does not tell you anything. They give you a word, heaven. Do you know what heaven looks like? Ask your priest, ask your minister, ask your rabbi. What's heaven look like? Oh, well, nobody knows. What's God look like? Oh, nobody knows. You know nothing about what's going to happen when you die. You believe you're going to go to heaven and be in a beautiful place with your family. If you had to die here to go there to do the same thing, why would that be normal? Or why would it even be right? I'm sick of my family. I was sick of my family when I was 16. I tried joining the army when I was 17. Why would I want to reincarnate to a higher realm, world, to be with them again? They were all separated. They were fighting sick people. You know, and what if you were married 2 times in this lifetime? Which wife do you want to be with? People don't even realize what they're saying. Oh, I'm going to be with my family. Which family? Or all your families want to get together and say, hey, you're my ex-wife. He's the ex-wife. He's blah, 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 blah. No, it's not going to happen. It won't happen. Now, I'm going to go into a lot of different topics. Please mind the way I talk. I go to multiple levels, go around in circles. When a person dies, they go to the astral plane, and it's not called heaven. And they stay there for a period of time until they get a body they can reincarnate back into on this planet. All right, that's usually 5 to 10 physical years. But in the astral plane, time really doesn't seem the same as here because you can do 1,000 times more in the same amount of time. All right, but when you come back in a new body, not the same body, not like the Egyptians kind of believed, that were taught, were programmed about, in a different body. It could be a girl or a boy. You don't stay male or female in every lifetime. And that's why people have a problem with that. If you remember all your lives as being a girl and now you're a boy, it's hard to deal with that subconsciously. But they don't talk about that. They won't, because spiritual people that say they're spiritual have no clue about anything. Now, all right, I can go on about a lot of things from my direct experience of past lives and stuff, how it was, what happened. Oh, well, it's just mine. Well, no, I met a few people here and there that have experience in certain places where I was, like when Jesus was alive in Atlantis. Even Carrie Cassidy has a TV show, radio show all the time. And I did her show about 3 times with her, 2 times about Atlantis and stuff. People are aware of some things, but not everything. That's one lifetime. And where'd you go from there? Why didn't you move forward? Atlantis was the only time planet Earth was in the Garden of Eden. That's when it was really the Garden of Eden. Mankind didn't kill. Women didn't kill. You couldn't lie, couldn't cheat, couldn't do any of those things because we all knew each other, what we think and thought. All right? You couldn't say, well, I did this, and they know you didn't. Or you wouldn't kill. And it wasn't existing, those words. It wasn't a part of reality. All right, there were 9 races. Each one of them had different awarenesses. And 5 races left, leaving 4 races here on the planet, black, yellow, red, and white. All right, all the other races with different colors. Blue, green, clear, invisible. I mean, there was other races here, but they all left. They attained an awareness, so they didn't have to stay here. This is hell, Hell. Call it what you want. Now, all the things all the things he talked about are what you experience here, not when you die. When you die, this brain that you think is you, this body that you think is you, dies. Soul steps out of it. All right? And when it does, it's not the same awareness that this brain and the body has. The brain only knows what wrinkle is in its brain. Every thought, everything you learn becomes a small wrinkle in your brain. So old people have a wrinkled brain, the baby has a really smooth brain. But that has nothing to do with soul. It doesn't remember past lives. It doesn't remember all those things. Soul does. Soul tries to feed that to the brain, which is really, really hard because the brain's programmed at birth. Being in the womb, it's being programmed. When it's born, it's being programmed. And by the time it reaches school, it's got more programs it's forced into. People, I'm 72. I've been around. I did almost everything you possibly want, good, bad, and indifferent. I'm serious about that. From the top to the bottom at every level. So if you want to know bad, you want to know good, you want to know really good. And really good means you're not aware and staying aware of what's really going on here. You're more aware of what's going on in the higher realms. Where are you going to go if you attain a spiritual awareness or even get to that point and you want to be? Most people don't ever want to leave here. They're locked into the sickness that lives here. And oh, please, there is something that controls this world, not God. If you think God wants to see people get hit by buses, run over, raped, and then killed and murdered, what kind of God do you deal with? God doesn't watch hell. That's why it put two things down here. One, it's called Satan. Satan is the controlling force of all the energy that comes out and tries to feed people energy and stuff. Not to kill or become a killer and to leave, to stay here. A famous person, a writer, singer, wrote in his story, and it's online, I sold my soul to the devil. And when he did, every song he wrote became a gold album. No matter who he gave it to, it became a gold album. Bob Dylan, just in case. When he did that, he says, I'm not the only one that did that. You can sell it yourself to the devil, Satan, but do you really know how to do it, and do you really know you do it? And what are you selling really? Take my soul. You don't know what it is. How can you give something away what you don't even know what it is? People are so in the crossfire of lies. There's no perception of truth. If you think Trump or Musk has any awareness of a God, any awareness of truth, think again. I mean, I listened to Musk before he became Mr. Trump's bodyguard, man, king, ruler, whatever. He was asking questions. Anybody know what God is? Does anybody know? And everybody asked all kinds of questions, but he never answered anything. I wrote to him and said, you want the truth? Just text me, email me, Skype me. He lied to me twice. People, I just got an email saying, well, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into it. But they're not aware of truth. If he was, he would understand the word karma. Every single thing on this planet deals with karma. Their karma, meaning what you do and act, and the Earth's karma, what it does. I mean, if there's a major earthquake when it hit a country and you're stuck there, it's still your karma, but it's the Earth karma creating it, not you. But you're allowed to be there or being forced to be there because you have to pay that karma. People don't want to deal with that. And I mean, different religions shy away from the truth as well. Christianity, Muslims, the highest number of people on the planet are those two religions. Neither one of them know what Jesus was teaching when he came here. All right, not to get into religion that bit, but I will. Not one person in Christianity understands God. How could I say that? Well, he protects me. He's not a he, and he's not protecting you. If I cut your head off right now, God's not going to protect you. You go in the army and get shot, blasted, God's not protecting you. You try to get turned over by a car, God's not protecting you, people. What do you think he protects when you call him he? Hey, Mr. God, protect me. Say my sorry ass. From what? Being a fool? Being a drug addict? Being a killer? Being a rapist? Being what? An angry person? Oh, you're a loving person. You love everything. Really? How could people say, I'm going to save the world? Do you think it's helping? You think you're God and you can send love to the whole world and the world's going to be, I just got love from God. Really? You can believe what you want. Tell yourself whatever you want. The facts are, you are not dealing with the truth. You're going to die. And if you think, oh, well, you go to a healer, they'll heal you, tell them to heal you so you don't die. Why not? He claims to be a healer. What did Jesus say to his people? You healed yourself by your own faith. I didn't heal you. He never bragged about it, never was egotistical. There wasn't a speck of ego in his body. All right. But he also said, go out and sin no more. Don't come back next week and ask me for forgiveness again. You know God exists. You know it's part of you. So live it. Act it. How many people know how to act like God? What does God do? Nobody knows. So when you say, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm religious. Really? Prove it. What's religious mean? Church on Sundays? I pray every day? To who? For what? For what? To tell God what to do? What is your purpose in life? To serve liquor to people, get them drunk and let them have accidents, and go to the army and shoot up people? What's your mission? What do you believe is right and what do you believe is wrong? People that ran away the United States up to Canada had some kind of a brain. They knew they couldn't kill somebody or they shouldn't kill somebody. Sure, there was one person, big story, in the army. He joined the army, said he'll never carry a gun. And he got beat, he got all kinds of things thrown at him all along the way. But when there was a war, he was there. I don't know what the number was. I think he saved 45 people himself running through the battlefield, taking their bodies back. All right. Even though he was persecuted by every single person he knew. So when you deal with truth, it's not what anybody else can tell you. It's what you're willing to accept for yourself and what and who you are. Why are you here? Why are you here? All right. When you die, your karma is there. If you paid most of it off, some souls do, not a lot, they get to stay on the astral plane. They don't reincarnate. And that's not many. But there, you don't learn much more than you do here. And there's a reason for that. The astral plane, you have, imagine 100 times more freedom and abilities than you do here. You don't need to eat. And you don't age. You can pick an age and stay there. But what in 1,000 years would change in your consciousness if you're happy in that moment? See, you go from one good thing to a better thing. And what's a better thing? Happiness. Most people say happiness. What's happiness? A marriage, your wife, children, or you are going to die sooner or later and really hurt the whole family that you created. Oh, well, yeah, what else? What are you doing? I'm going to make more money so that they're all happy. Money to make them happy? Is that what love is? Going back to Atlantis, we didn't deal with money. We didn't deal with eating animals. We didn't deal with killing. All right? And there was a lot less to worry about when you're worried about if you're going to even get food to live on next day or pay your rent, pay your anything. It was different. People helped each other, always. Even in a native nation, they all shared together. I'm not saying they're more spiritual. They were more aware. And aware means aware in a physical reality, because you can't be aware in a spiritual reality until you're there. All right. I'm not going to get into that too deep right now, but I still want to stick this out and try to get you into a couple of things that are a little more important. When you go outside, what do you want? What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? What do you want to feel? What's going to make you happy? Oh, we got a free trip to go around the planet. Oh, we got a ticket to go to Mars. Is that what you're programming yourself to want? Musk is sure trying to make it that way. He had test things on there. He goes, if you figure this out, I'll bring you on a ship when we go to... really? You remember when they were selling tickets to go to the moon? Where'd that money go? Who has it? What are they doing with that? People that leave this planet aren't going to be the middle class or the poor people or the sick people. It's going to be people with money. I mean, even in covered Star Trek, paid to go on a ship to go into space. Wow, I went into space. Well, if that's his greatest thrill that he's searching for, yeah, he attained it. But now what? I'm back on Earth. When Musk thinks he's going to create a civilization on Mars, why? He has no clue at all. And Mr. Musk, if you ever get to listen to this, which I know you won't, anything about aliens, you don't know nothing, anything about space, you know nothing about the secret government. Well, when they release their spaceship this year, it'll blow everybody away on the planet, meaning physically as well. All right, the weapons we're using in the United States, which were created by Tesla, are the most deadliest thing. A nuclear bomb's not the most dangerous thing, people. Hydrogen bomb, proton bomb, electron bomb. They're all different. They all do different things, but they're dangerous to a certain area. But the weapons they create are more dangerous. Now think of this. Tesla was working on all these inventions in the 1900s. He created an earthquake machine. He almost leveled the square block of New York City. They broke into in his office and shut his machine down. All right, but he was working on a doomsday weapon. And that's when nobody ever heard of Tesla again. All right, but in that time frame, he gave 50 weapons to the U.S. One of them that's not talked about, and it is real. You heard the fake story of the Philadelphia experiment, but it was real, and it really happened. All right, and what that did, I mean, time is not real and blah blah. It is real. If you change history 1,000 years ago, it changes our history today. You change the history even in the future, it changes how we're going to get there. All right, especially when you bring it back to the present. When the Philadelphia experiment happened, they went back in time. Somebody died that shouldn't have. And Albielek was forced to go back. They gave him millions of dollars. A friend of mine that I did all my UFO research wanted to beg him to go with him. I want to go with you. I want to go with you. I want to go with you. He says, you can't. But the next time I saw him, he looked about 25, 30 years younger than when I saw him the time before that. All right. And he told me when he could die. He said they can't kill him because of the time cycle. And that month of that cycle, he died. People, I dealt with a lot of people in the UFO world. And 16 of my friends have been taken out. And I know nobody in the UFO world will talk to me because they all are afraid. My ex-partner in the UFO world that I've spent years working with sold out. He won't admit that. He won't say what really happened, what went down, but he took everything in the UFO world down. Now he says he's a disciple of Jesus, which I told him I'll leave him alone. I'm sick and tired of fighting with him because he's got problems. I mean, everybody has problems, but again, delusional thinking. He's Jesus' disciple, considering he was a head UFO speaker about orbs and aliens and all that kind of stuff. People change, usually not for the better. And a prisoner could go to all kind of rehab and then comes out. What are they going to do when they get out? Can't even get a job. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, people. My doggy is going wacko. So, we have a short time on this planet, and the maximum is 125 years. Oh, Moses lived 1,000 years, 5,000. Everybody has different numbers and names and how long somebody can live and believe. Aliens live a long time, a lot longer than us. But they're not more spiritual, never have been. what they did to the Egyptians, what they did to the Mayans, what they did to the Aztecs were all lies they fed them. They taught them lies about reincarnation. They taught them lies about history. They taught them lies about everything they know. They were never a spiritual race, people. Sacrificing people does not make you a spiritual person. Cutting up a body and things like that doesn't make you a smart person. Believing somebody makes you an ignorant person. Everybody has their level of awareness of acceptance. This much truth, or this much truth. How much can a person deal with? Very few people can deal with any truth. Never mind this much truth. Now, I can tell you we had actual wars with aliens in space. We had actual wars with aliens on planet Earth. You don't hear much about that, and the government's not going to talk about it. We got Stephen Greer, the most biggest fool on the planet in the UFO world, telling lies. Everything he says is a lie. And people believe him. Zachariah Sitchin came out with a book about the Anunnaki, creating false stories about these people that lived here a long time ago. If they're not here and they're not around, you can say anything you want about them. Oh, well, they're my best friend. I knew him really good. Yeah, really, you can say whatever you want, but they're not here to prove it. Proof is what happens when a group of people see something. It's easier to prove that truth to other people. One person sees it, nobody believes it. Now, people that are religious, you know the story of the disciples. You know their names, hopefully, and what, and this, that, and the other thing. Paul never saw Jesus in the physical. He had a vision. That's how he met him. Why did people in those days believe him? Most people don't believe people in today's date that had a vision. I told you, I had multiple visions all my life. But I experienced my past lives as well in great detail. You have many. You have many, many incarnations, people. Usually you pick one over the other, meaning male or female. But you will have to take one of the other forms here and there. I was male most of my life, but I was female in about 3 that I know, out of hundreds. But to me, I had 3 important reincarnations in my whole eternity of life. One was when I was in Atlantis, 2 when I was with Jesus, and present. Because now I'm able to move forward. In your other past lives, if you're still here, you didn't learn everything that you had to learn. And you got to learn. This is kindergarten. You think they're going to take you from kindergarten and put you in college? Well, do what you want up in college. No, you can't. You'll be making bombs, blowing up wherever you are, thinking you can. People, this ain't a story. I'm not telling you a story. I'm telling you the truth. The truth is you have to find your own, but don't make it up as you go along. You need to do things to make the things happen that you can experience the truth. You want to see a UFO? Go out for a week. From 4 o'clock to 5:30 every morning, you'll see UFOs. Promise you. I mean, there's things you can do to prove something that if you don't believe it. Bigfoot, I was next to one. I was a foot away from one. I don't have to go out of my way to prove that. But people, I was doing Ghostbusting when I was 17 in New York City. I worked with the top medium of the United States at that time, rated by the New York Psychic Center. And what we did within a couple of years was incredible. I became a high priest, and I worked with that. But I realized if this is one level of power, there's a higher power, which is God. Always remember that. No matter what you believe, no matter what your ego tells you, it's lying to you. You need a speck of ego, because if you don't know that you're real, it doesn't matter. You have to believe that you're real and you're a person, and you have the ability to do things. And once you realize that, you can move forward. Not by going to a workshop, having a class where they charge you $5,000 for a month to learn how to be a better person. You are the best you can be right now, whatever you're doing. But you can tell yourself, I don't want to do this. I want to move forward. I want to change this. You don't need somebody else to tell you you need to change what you're doing. I mean, if you're a sex therapist, why do you have to change to become a bartender? I mean, they don't know what's better for you. You have to learn it. And you got to understand the reasons why you're going through the situation. It took me lots and lots of reincarnations to understand why I'm here. in this lifetime. And for many, many years, I said, how can I leave a lifetime being with Jesus and come back into this shithole? Why would I want to? Well, there's reasons, people. And it took me the past 5 years, and I'm 72 now, to understand the total reason why I did choose to come back. I'm not going to get into it. It's my life, my experience, and I will at some point. But people don't care. I could tell them this, that, or the other thing. Well, that's your stupid mission, or that's your mission, blah, blah, blah. Not mine. Here's something simple, people. Every single soul, all 8 billion people on this planet, have one mission. Only one. Not thousands or hundreds or whatever. Skiing teacher, baseball player, football player, hockey player, an actor, a singer. That's not the mission you're supposed to be worried about more than anything else. You can believe it. I want to make more money. Like Musk, the richest person on the planet, doesn't care about people. Well, I'm going to change the world to what he wants it to be. He wants to build a space city in Texas. He wants to go to Mars. You think all that money couldn't change reality of the United States or the world? All the richest people would make this world an incredible place if they wanted to. But guess what? There will always be old people. And they don't want that, especially next to their house. There'll be bad people. And they think, well, I can say this. There's one island I was going to go to. I'm not going to say what island. But there's no crime there. But you have to be rich to get on the island. I mean, the cops don't even carry guns and nothing like that. But, when people are worried about their own stuff, they're not worried about stealing other people's stuff. So when you're poor, you have nothing, and your children are starving. You're forced into a situation that the government's allowing to happen. I could tell you horrible stories, and they just get horrible every day. But the idea is you have to wake up. You have to realize there's always a better place, better step for you to move into. Better people to be around. Now, when we say we have friends in what? Religion? Spiritual truth, spiritual. I stayed with a medicine woman for almost 27 years. I studied religion for 20 years. Yeah, I got things out of it, important things out of it, but not any kind of total package of why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do. And on top of that, I was given incredible more information that blows me away every time I think about it. And I keep saying I'm 72. When's it going to happen? Psychics have abilities. But how far does that ability go? Nobody on this planet right now is walking Jesus, has Jesus' abilities. And Jesus wasn't God. Sorry to tell you that. So when we say things, well, I'm a psychic, I do anything. Oh, really? I knew I was psychic when I was 16. There's 32 psychic abilities. We opened that up into like 128. But there's only 32. And those abilities are incredible. Some of them seem a lot more better or more practical and more useful than the other ones. But clairvoyancy, auto projection, and all those kind of things, clairvoyancy, interdimensional travel, soul travel, and I can go on to all of them, but I don't deal with them anymore. They cannot be used wisely on a planet that's living in hell. If you were a rich person or a poor person and you claim to be 100% psychic, you could go to any casino and take all the money and go home, just like that. You just have to be able to read the future for 1 minute, just 1 minute. On a roulette wheel, playing this. 2 minutes, you'll know what the number is, you play it, and you put $10,000 on it, and guess what? You got a lot more money. Put $1 million. There's rooms where you can put whatever you want down in the closed rooms and stuff. But they're really leery about people that come in there. But again, if you have an ability, you can change reality. And the world's not changing the reality to what it should be. So the abilities have been taken away greatly, leaving people with about 1-2%. I'm a healer. I'm a psychic. Yeah, tell me what's going to happen tomorrow morning when I get up. All right. One person I work with, I told you I work with the top medium in the United States. She was a medium at the time they were called. And she was able to channel any soul that was in the lower realm. Because souls move on, you can't get in touch with them. Most souls that are in the lower realm are coming back here. When people say, I talked to my grandfather, my mother, that means they didn't get very far. Because once you leave the lower dimension, this reality is no longer in power over your consciousness. There's nothing beneficial for you here. Remember, you had multiple lifetimes, multiple families, multiple children. Do you care about any other them? Any of them? Of course not. I don't even know where they are, who they are, what they are. They're reincarnated, blah, blah, blah. Well, I met a few people that reincarnated that I knew personally, like my mother, where she is, what she's doing, things like that. When I crossed a person over, I met his wife at the point when I was crossing her over. And she already reincarnated, but she came back to be there to help him cross over. I said, well, what do you want to do with him? And I crossed lots of people over at one time. But, you know, I don't really predict or tell them where they have to go. I just bring them to what I would call their angels and let them work with them. I'm not going to take on karma, which I did twice in my life, and I'm sorry I did. When you take that kind of power and say you got it, you're responsible for everything, including what they do when they come back. All right? It gets really complicated, especially when you don't know anything about it. I met a priest. No, I don't know. Maybe a minister. I don't know what he was. I was in his church. I guess he was a minister. And I started talking. He started talking to me. And I said, well, what do you teach? And he goes, Christianity. And I said, well, do you believe? He goes, no. So what do you mean no? He goes, well, I learned how to leave my body. I said, you don't teach that? He goes, no. I said, why would you learn something and not teach it to the world? Well, it's my mission. See, people take on truth. Truth means truth for everybody. Truth isn't right for just you or me. Killing is against truth. Ten Commandments aren't evil. They're not the whole thing. Each one of them's cut short because Mr. Moses couldn't write it long enough. But the truth is, Moses wasn't happy with the Ten Commandments. So he created 63 more laws that are unlivable. So he was the greatest black magician, and that means killing. White magicians can't kill. Big difference. I was a white magician. I was never a black magician. All right? I'm not saying things happen to other people and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get into that. But when you have power and you're responsible for it, you need to know reactions of it. Well, I'll see. Well, it just goes on to my karma. Well, if you build your karma as a wall, it gets too high, you'll never get past it. And when you die, you're facing that wall. If you think you're just going to go in heaven and say, I'm in heaven now. Really? You can dream all you want. Dreams are cool if you understand them. And I spent years doing dream research too, which is important. All right? And I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother special talk on that because dreams are complicated. Learning how to go in and out of them, be part of them, change them, be in three different parts, being yourself in it, looking at yourself in it, being yourself, looking at yourself in it, or stepping out of it. So there's a lot of things you could learn, understand before you die, and you should, pertaining to you, not everybody else. You think everybody cares if the corn crops die around the planet or potatoes are no longer picked? I mean, some people will. Think the whole world's going to worry about one thing like that? On straws. Let's worry about stopping straws from being made. Really? They're testing a drone up here in Hawaii and dropping bombs on a mountain, testing a drone. And it has to be documented, believe it or not. And it is documented in the libraries, and they're trying to close libraries as well. You know, anywhere there's truth, I'm telling you straight out, Musk is going to try to remove it. Trump is going to try to remove it. They want to take books away. They want to take this away. Everything where you can get things, like including the post office. We're going to have to pay $100 to get a package shipped to you. Really? Think about what's happening, people. It doesn't really matter to where you can attain your awareness, because that awareness isn't going to help you find spirit, soul, God, angels. Angels are easy to find. I want to go into one word, which is definitely important: Lucifer. There's Luciferians out there, which are full baloney. They have no clue what they're dealing with because they're not dealing with Lucifer. All right. Now, people that believe Lucifer is the most hated angel and bad and going to try to destroy the planet is pretty ignorant. Thinking Jesus is going to come back and kill Lucifer. Delusional mental state of a person's consciousness. Jesus could not kill Satan. Couldn't take him out. And wouldn't. It's not his place. He didn't say he was God. Ever. Never, ever, ever. Didn't want the title God. All right. But he did bring truth about God, which nobody heard. Lucifer fell with all the other angels. Well, many of them. And they're all there doing their thing. But they only know what they know, like you only know what you know. They can't give you teachings on God's higher awareness. They can't. They don't know it because they're not there. They're in the astral plane. Most angels and deities are in the lower realm. And the lower realm is the physical and the astral plane, what you call heaven. To go beyond that, I call the words little gods. There's three. I'm sorry to tell you, Lucifer's one of them. Satnam's another. All right, Jehovah's the third. The little gods, names of those beings, not people or anything else. They're beings, and they're there for a reason. Every soul that goes beyond the astral plane has to go past them. And I can't give. I'm not allowed to. You have to learn that. What is the key to get through the door? You got to work at that really hard. So, we each have our own thing to do in life. And that's to find out who we are. Nothing more, nothing less. Why are we here? And when you do realize that, then you can start moving forward. But if you think being here is great, important, incredible, you're living in a delusionary place. Well, we got time. A lot of noise out there, sorry. But we only have a short time on this planet. 125 years is short because after 60, it gets shorter and shorter every day. After 80, it's really short. And after then, you start going through body problems. Hopefully by then, you realize you don't want to be in the body no more. The body is a shell. It's like a car. After a certain amount of years, it's useless unless you get a Tesla car, which is going to be useless as well. There's a person from Zimbabwe invented a new energy pack that will power a car that doesn't need power to charge it, doesn't need fuel. It also will be able to run a house. It will change the world. He's releasing it shortly. There'll be a car coming out with it, and he wants the price, half the price of an average car. So, and he's not asking for lots of money. He wants his country to be recognized, which Zimbabwe should be, especially because he was a scientist all his life working on things, and he came up with this. Wait, it'll be out. Just type Zimbabwe new invention for energy. It'll blow you away. But Musk will be destroyed by it. Batteries would be totally useless. I knew a guy when I was young, 17. The company was Better World Technologies. He invented free energy devices to sell. And he invented a lot of other inventions along the way. And during that time frame, they tried to put him away. Hold on. So what I'm going to say to you now, I do a show every week. I usually do one, but I'm going to probably be doing at least two. One's on Thursday, which is about UFOs with a co-host from England. And it's the truth. Everything about what we say is real and truthful. And there's multiple alien ships over us every single day. I film any morning I go out. She has ships over her house all night long. One ship or two ships. So things are going on way beyond our government. And they're not drones. And a lot of the things you'll see are not drones. There are drones. In the fires, California fire, Hawaii fire, there were drones flying around in them. All right. Then you got directed energy beams and everything else, but they're not going to talk about that. So unless you do research, watch videos. They used to have a live video of Antarctica and stuff, and you used to be able to watch it 24 hours and watch strange things happening, like two suns coming up, roads appear and disappear, and things like that. But I'm telling you this, unless you're ready and want to change, none of it matters. You can live in the state you're in, thinking you're happy, thinking everything's great. No matter how old you are, if you're 40, 80, 20, and you get hit by a car and die tomorrow, is your family going to be happy? What you created, what are you going to leave them? I mean, it's all about money, who you leave, what you have, who can you give it to. Musk, on the other hand, could take away poverty, homelessness, food problems, child abuse, everything in a short period of time with some of his money. Oprah had a lot of money to do a lot of things, and she didn't do much with it except talk about weight loss. People with money do not think about problems. To show you how evil people are, right after the fire, Oprah came to Hawaii and bought 100 acres right next to where the fire was. On the other side, another multi-billionaire bought another 100 acres. And now those people that burnt out can't afford to move in there, and it escalated like so much in value. It's a sad thing, people. Money brings more money in a person that's sick with ego. All right, I could go on for hours. I got a whole bunch of things I want to talk about, and I'm not even touching them. But I only can do what's in the moment. I don't believe in past. All the shows I did, they were then. The only thing that matters is what's happening right now. We've got two people controlling. Musk is the richest person on the planet. He could buy his way out of anything, anywhere, anytime. And how do we know he didn't bribe all the people that counted the votes? How do we know he didn't bribe everybody else along the way? He bragged about giving people $1 million to vote for Trump. That should be illegal. It should have changed the election. It should have made it a fraud. But how did all these people suddenly vote for Trump? And, men never changed. I'm going to spend a couple minutes back on men. My new book, for women only, Understanding a Man's Ego. Well, when Musk got in control, becoming super rich, his mind changed. What he believes, what he thinks is based on money. All right, who he can buy, what he can buy out, what he thinks is right for people. Trump, being a dictator, thinks he can control everything that he wants to do. But there's still people here. People with consciousness, people with a brain, people with trust and honesty within their body, able to think out of their brain and soul rather than just his mind. But we're in trouble. We're facing war real soon. Aliens are going to be here in a great number, and they are, but they're going to make themselves known soon enough. And they are, and even that's being covered up greatly. The government has been working with them since 1950, people. That's no lie. Russia didn't have better spaceships, which they try to make you believe, better drones, and they don't. But what's even more scary is what they're putting in chemtrails. Imagine a microscopic bug that could go into your body. And that's real. Go pull it up online. You'll be amazed what's created. Remember, every 25 years, the world takes a giant step in a different direction. Greater technology, but not greater spiritually. We go down when we go up in spirituality goes down when we go up in science. Science is leaning us further and further away from God. Oh, we found the God gene. God gene? Really? Well, I guess I got God's DNA, so that makes me God, right? No. But I can't even say his name, the Japanese scientist that's pretty famous. He even came out a couple of years ago saying that there had to be some kind of higher God, a force that creates everything, because nothing can mutate better every time. Considering we're the best we could be right now. All right? It doesn't mutate normal that way. If you look at creatures and entities other beings that came here, what they work with are so different. Giants for one. I know what giants, multiple different kinds of giants were here. Why would you build a building so high with a doorway so high for a 6-foot, 4-foot guy walking inside it? What would he need that other height for? To pull in energy from space and use it for what? Killing people? Mankind was never spiritual again after Atlantis was destroyed. I challenge anybody to prove that different. Prove that the Galactic Confederation are even real. And their prophecy is motherships will be over us this month. And more fleets were coming down. Yeah, more aliens are coming around in different. They all drive different kinds of ships. I'm going to say a name. Good, better, and different. Sergeant 18. He was my co-partner during a bunch of years doing UFO work. Well, he kind of left it and became Jesus' disciple. But in the interim, we filmed more UFOs, entities, creatures, bizarre things than anybody else in the United States from 1996. And I was friends with him till 2002. We broke friendship, and then we became friends again and did Kerry Cassidy's show for 9 months. We had the biggest following and everything else. But he wasn't talking about God then either, or Jesus. People, Satan's here, but he wants to keep us here. He doesn't want anybody to go to heaven. He would just kill everybody and let everybody go to heaven. But then he'd be alone on this planet. And then his reason for being here will be gone. And he's not planning on changing that anytime soon. But Lucifer is a different entity. He was the being of light, and he still is. Mankind will take the best things and destroy them, like they did with Jesus. And I did years research on all the spiritual people, so-called spiritual people, and religious people. Most of them were killed. Few of them survived being poisoned. Few of them got shot. But 1 or 2 died of old age, like around 84, of a sickness. But in general, they're taken out. Even Gandhi was killed by one of his own followers. People, do you realize what wants to take something good out? Why? What kind of perversion? Why would Trump think people coming into our country are all bad? Who brought his family into this country? Who brought the Christians into this country? And what did they do when they got here? Killed over 50 million Native people for no reason. And then made great stories about how bad they are. Well, they're still here. Not large numbers like they used to be. All right. People, you want the truth? Text me hawksblood1aol.com, Skype hawksblood11, and I'll talk. I'd rather talk than type. I've been writing all my life, well, for pretty much longest time of my life now. And I hate writing. I'm bad at spelling, bad at English. And I have had dyslexia and everything else. So I do talk in a circle. But the truth's there. If you can follow the circle, you'll follow and find the truth. Because it always leads to one thing only. You go around in circles all you want, but there's only one spot you're staying in. And the center is God, always. People, please, I'm not doing this for kicks and money. I pay for this show. I put books out there. Like I said, my first book was How to See God, True Teachings of God, True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, okay? Truth Beyond the Illusion, and all those kind of books. But I'm not doing it to make money. We all need money to survive in this world that we created. But it has nothing to do with spiritualism, truth, and God. Nothing. Musk will never see God. Trump will never see God. You know what Jesus said many times when he was alive? It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. You could doubt it. Say, oh, that's a lie. No, it's not. If you're a rich person and you've got billions of dollars and you got people starving on your block and all that kind of stuff, who's sick? The people that are sick or the people that are not feeding the poor, homeless, sick people? We had the cure from leprosy, and nobody's willing to pay to bring it to that country because there's more people dying of it now than ever. People, we're sick, and the human race has been getting sicker and sicker. Why? Think about it. Money, nothing else. Money brings power, power brings ego. So those three words create the demon that lives within inside these people. Satan will feed it. All right, people, I'm not going to go on any further. Please text me, email me. I could go on, but I know you're bored. You don't want to hear it. I was going to go into my life story, which is horrible. But next time. But please, people, don't listen to anybody. Don't accept what you hear. Go to what you feel is your heart. Your heart doesn't have feelings, but what you feel your heart consciousness is. And see if it vibrates true. At that point, then make a decision, right or wrong. And there's a way to find out the truth of what steps you should be taking, how to avoid stepping into the darkness as well. But I'm not going to go into that. I'll have to do special workshops on each one of them. All right, people. Whatever you want in your life, don't stop until you get it, but hopefully it's a good thing. Remember, you're going to die, and you're going to leave people in sadness. That's what life's about. Everybody around you is going to die. If you live to 125, you're going to see your family die. All right. I hope I bored you enough, but the truth is boring to most people because they don't want to hear it. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here in the big island of Hawaii.